We know that Deborah returned fire, but we do not believe the suspect was hit or injured by her gunfire. Backup officers arrived at the scene within 28 seconds. Again, we do have probable cause for the arrest of Markeith Loyd for first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer and additionally attempted murder of the sheriff's deputy, Captain Joe Carter. The Orlando Police Department, the Orange County Sheriff's Office SWAT teams, and hundreds of officers and deputies have been vigilantly pursuing all leads in searching for Markeith Loyd. We have searched dozens of apartments and residences in an effort to find the suspect and bring him in. We have deployed numerous officers and detectives who specialize in looking for suspects who try to avoid capture. And we are using every resource possible to find him and arrest him. So we want the community to know if you are assisting Markeith Loyd evade capture, you will be criminally charged. And I can assure you that we will not rest until Markeith Loyd is behind bars. If you don't need to be in the area of the Brookside Apartments, that's 5575 Cinder Lane Parkway, please try and avoid that area. There's a large police presence there, and we are actively continuing to search that area. I do want to say, although Markeith Loyd is very dangerous, our community is protected by one of the best agencies in the nation, and together with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, our officers are going to continue to risk their lives for this community, and this loss only strengthens our resolve to fight for justice in this community. Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton grew up here, and she deeply cared about this community. She was involved in many community engagement efforts and was always the first to step up and volunteer to help kids. She was married and had one son who's in college. We have teams in place to assist Sergeant Clayton and her family in all the ways possible during this difficult time. And we have family liaisons that are going to be at their side continuously as they make plans for laying her to rest. There will be a fund set up soon, and we will provide those details to the public. Our officers who responded this morning and our whole OPD family is grieving. We will ensure that everyone gets counseling and any other assistance they need. The officers who worked day in and day without order on that squad, they will be off until next week. And many officers have stepped up to fill their roles so that they can take time to grieve for their friend. Again, if anyone has information, they're urged to call 911 or Crime Line. As you can see, the reward is now $60,000. We want Markeith Loyd arrested and behind bars. I want this community to know the safety and security of our residents and visitors is our top priority. Our officers, in the face of this very personal tragedy today, remain committed to doing their jobs, and they remain on the street despite risk to their own lives. And I can't be more proud of the Orlando Police Department. So right now we'll take some questions.
If the suspect is watching right now, if he has access to TV, what do you want to say to him? What do you want to let him know?
Markeith Loyd needs to turn himself in. Not tonight, not tomorrow. He needs to call and turn himself in now so we can bring this to a peaceful resolution.
Do you believe there are people out there hiding him right now?
I believe there have been people out there helping him all along. He's been wanted for several weeks now for a murder. So certainly people continue to help him, and if we find out about those people, we will criminally charge them.
The mayor mentioned that a citizen had approached Sergeant to notify about this suspect. Can you give us any more details about that initial encounter? Was she just coming on duty? Has she been on duty in uniform, in a car? Anything you can provide?
All right. So Sergeant Clayton was on duty. She was in full police uniform. She was at the Walmart, and she was approached by a citizen who knew Markeith Loyd and knew that he was wanted for murder. She saw Sergeant Clayton and approached her and said, "Hey, that guy's wanted for murder." Sergeant Clayton immediately called that out over the radio and attempted to locate him. There was a short foot pursuit, and as soon as she said stop, He basically opened fire on her. She returned fire. Officers were there within 28 seconds, and from there you know that he fled to the area of Pine Hills in North Lane, to an apartment complex up there, carjacked a victim, took that car to the Brookside Apartments, and that's where he was last seen. That's why there's a large police presence. We are focusing our attention on that. We just want to make sure that he's not there before we do leave that area. And I'll just say that, you know, we need the community's help. Someone knows something. We're hoping that someone calls and lets us know where he is.
Chief, could you reinforce that idea? I mean, it's obvious this guy is extremely dangerous, but for the public, if they encounter this man, what they should do?
If anyone from the public should happen to see Markeith Loyd, they should immediately call 911, and obviously do not try to approach. Just call 911, let the officers and authorities come arrest him.
Chief, I gotta imagine today is pretty tough for everybody in the department. When you talked about this officer who has given so much to this community, someone who look at it, can you elaborate that on a little bit? Just that with things in our life that's been stopped from somebody else who's still had it.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, yeah, I've known Deborah for 17 years. I will tell you that there is no one more passionate about the community she serves. She grew up here. She deeply cared about the community. Her involvement in all of our different community engagement efforts, to include the Paramore Kids Zone. She played a huge part in Dueling Dragons and Operation Positive Direction, to our mentoring programs, where she personally traveled and mentored young kids in high school from this area, and went to trips to Washington, D.C. and all over the country. So she deeply cares. It is really tragic anytime a police officer is killed on the line of duty, but she was so deeply involved in the community. It hurts all the more because I know that she was trying to do her part to make this community safer, and she's going to be forever missed.
Chief, you said obviously law enforcement officials were very familiar with this suspect. Have you been in contact with any of his family members or other contacts today? Have they been cooperative at all in providing you with any information so far today?
We're not going to talk about all the investigation and the operation that is ongoing, but I will tell you that it is extensive, and there are, like I said, hundreds of officers and deputies in the area. We have been in contact and are working with the FBI, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the ATF, the U.S. Marshals are all working together to bring him to justice. But they're doing a lot of things to help locate him, and I'm sure it won't be long. We'll find him soon, but definitely need the community's help to, if they should happen to see him, call 911, or if they think they know where he is, call 911 or a crime line.
You said you're getting tips. Is it still continuing? Are people still calling? Has the trail gone cold at all? I mean, what are you guys experiencing so far?
We're continuing to get tips, and every tip that we get, we are following up on. And just so you know, the effort to capture him is a 24/7 operation. We're not going to stop. We have a special command post, an emergency operations center set up just for that, where all the agencies that are trying to locate him are coordinating their effort and doing a lot of different things that we can't talk about, but he will be located.
If he's not at that apartment complex, do you have any idea if he may be somewhere else in the state, or is it possible he left the state, or how confident are you that he's still in the area?
I'm confident that we will find him. Where he goes, and I can tell you that it doesn't matter where he goes. We will track him down to the ends of the earth. Trust me on that, and he won't get far. I'm confident of that.
We'll take 2 more questions.
You mentioned Sergeant Clayton was on duty. Do we know if she was wearing a vest or had any other kind of protection?
She was wearing her issued body armor.
Anybody have one last question?
The the suspect wasn't wearing a security outfit. Right? That was reported initially.
The suspect was wearing a T-shirt that said security, but that's not uncommon. We run into people in nightclubs who wear shirts that say FBI, shirts that say police. Many people wear shirts that say security. He is not a security guard, has never been a security guard. As you know, he's got a long list of arrests and convictions, and so he's not a security guard, although he was wearing a shirt that said security.
And after that initial event, has anybody seen him? Have you gotten any tips of anybody seeing him?
Tips continue to come in, and we're focusing on those areas. That's all I'll mention about that. Just lastly, again, thank the media. We appreciate the coverage, and hope that someone sees the picture and calls us. So thank you.
Again, we were listening to Police Chief John Mina of the Orlando Police Department talking about today's investigation. I'm joined now by Adrian Whitsett.
Yeah, this is something that you guys have obviously been covering for most of the day. We wanted to give Jim Payne a little bit of a break. It's been 8.5 hours now since this began at 7:17 this morning when Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton arrived at that Walmart. As we heard Chief Mina talk about, she was approached by just a citizen who said that they were aware that Markeith Loyd, who's a wanted murder suspect from a couple of weeks ago, was there in that area, and so she approached him apparently by herself, and that is when they say that Markeith Loyd shot her. Chief Mina said earlier this morning that it was multiple times, and we now know, in fact, that she exchanged gunfire at some point with him, but Chief Mina says that he does not think that Markeith Loyd was injured.
Right, and we also know that backup arrived at that Walmart within 28 seconds to help Sergeant Clayton. She was taken to ORMC where she was pronounced dead as she arrived on the scene. Now, Markeith Loyd is now wanted for first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer and attempted murder after firing shots at another officer when he fled the scene. That reward is up to $60,000. If you know where he is, call 1-800-423-TIPS. You do not have to leave your name. This is anonymous, but Chief Mina saying he will be brought to justice. They will track him down. Right now, they do believe that he is in the area. We know right now that the SWAT team and several officers, or hundreds of officers, are at an apartment complex in the Rosemont area just off of Cinder Lane Parkway. We have seen them escort residents out of their apartment to across the street so that they can go in and investigate. Again, they do think he is here, and they do believe, as you heard from Chief Mina, that somebody is helping to hide Loyd. He has been on the run since December after he was accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, Sade Dixon. Went to her house, shot and allegedly killed her, also fired shots at Dixon's brother. Fortunately, he was able to survive.
Yeah, he was in critical condition for quite some time after that shooting happened right in the front door of that house. Bob Keeling had talked a little bit earlier with relatives just in that area. They're hoping that this comes to a conclusion, obviously, with Markeith Loyd. And one of the things that struck me when Chief Mina was talking, he said when he was asked the question about where they think Loyd was, again, he mentioned that they think, they believe that he could still be in this area, but he says it doesn't matter where Loyd goes. They will track him down to the end of the earth. They have joint operation. They have an emergency operations center. So the Orange County Sheriff's Office, as well as Orlando Police and the FBI and FHP, can all kind of coordinate. They have hundreds of law enforcement officers out here right now looking for Markeith Loyd. Again, as we see, $60,000 reward. It's a remarkable amount and shows just how much they want to catch Markeith Loyd. And Chief Mina has talked all day about how he wants to make sure that he can get him behind bars. They don't want this to be more dangerous than it's already been, as we saw this morning. The other thing that we know about is during the course of this massive manhunt for Markeith Loyd that started just after 7 o'clock this morning, they put a lot of Orange County public schools on lockdown. 14, I believe, at one point. The last word that we got is one was still...
Well, that's actually, that school has now been lifted. There are no more schools that are on lockdown in the Orange County area. In fact, West 2 Summer Knolls is at Rosemont Elementary, where we saw the buses start to pick up the kids, and parents were lined up to pick up those children. Summer, what were were the parents telling you about their kids being locked down, especially those elementary age children? Must have been a very tough situation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to be a parent to understand the fear and the anxiety that these parents were feeling, knowing that their children, many of them very young, were at schools like Rosemont Elementary School that were on lockdown. If you take a look behind me, you can see the parking lot is pretty much clear because it appears most of the parents that wanted to come and pick up their students have been able to do so. But as you can imagine, as soon as that lockdown was lifted, concerned parents flooded this school to get their children, some of whom, as you mentioned, Angela, were very young, too young to understand what was really going on and the gravity of it all. Take a listen. What happened?
Like I thought my mom wasn't coming yet.
What did teachers tell you today about what was going on?
That they said that they were in lockdown.
Do you know what that means? Okay.
And we were stuck in line, people talking, it was on the radio.
So knowing your child was still at school and not with you while this was going on.
It was very scary. And I was wanting to come back and get her, but they were on lockdown, so we couldn't really do anything.
So as you heard there, a lot of parents feeling helpless. Now, although nerve-wracking, the parents we spoke with did express that they found comfort in knowing nobody was getting in or out of schools like Rosemont Elementary. Again, right now you can see the parking lot is pretty much empty because all of those parents were able to come and pick their students up. One of the things they said also gave them comfort was knowing that there were a bunch of law enforcement in this area. When we pulled up in this residential neighborhood, we saw deputies with their large rifles out, so they are very visible and on the search, on the hunt for that man believed to have shot that officer earlier today, Markeith. As we get more information, we'll let you know. But again, right now, Rosemont Elementary School, the lockdown has been lifted. All the parents that wanted to come and pick up their students have been able to do so and are feeling a sense of relief knowing that their kids are in their custody right now. Reporting live in Orange County, Summer Knowles, West 2 News. Guys, back to you.
All right, Summer. Yeah, that's good news for all those parents who are waiting throughout the day to pick up their children and not knowing exactly when they would be able to be released from school.
Very nerve-wracking. West 2's Greg Fox is in the Rosemont area. We know an apartment complex there is being evacuated of its residents. They're being told to leave, and we saw the SWAT team out there with those long rifles. Greg, has anything changed since we last spoke with you?
Nothing has changed in the idea that people are getting a chance to go back into their various homes in the Rosemont neighborhood, and we're going to be careful not to talk about the streets where we are right now, because we really we understand that Markeith Loyd could be watching, could be listening, he could be watching us online, whatever. And all we really want you to see and know at this point is that police are still stationed here, and not only are they moving into various buildings in the Rosemont area, but also, as you can see, there's people there on the sidewalk on the right there. Videographer Mike Ollendorf is going to give you a closer look at some of the people who are asked to move out of their homes, essentially temporarily, to give police an opportunity to work. And so they are doing that. They are doing what they normally do when they're searching for a suspect in a violent crime. They are moving slowly, methodically, carefully. They are trying to make sure that they cover every base here. They want to be able to clear this area, in fact, not just to catch him. And we realize that they are looking for someone suspected in the murder of an Orlando police officer. But they also want to make sure that when they leave this neighborhood, that the people who are going back to their homes are going back in safety, that they are taken care of safely. And so that's why they're taking this one small step at a time, and they have been doing that throughout the day. And of course, we're going to stay on top of this and bring you a complete update here in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Again, Chief Mina talking about this apartment complex, telling us a SWAT team is there, hundreds of officers at the scene right now. It's a very active situation. The area that he's in, we don't want to give specifics because they're there and they're trying, they do believe that he is still in this area. They don't believe that he's left this area, and they think that somebody is helping him hide.
Yeah, and the hard part about that is if you're in the area and you can see it, we saw a man who had his phone out, probably Facebook Living or FaceTiming with somebody. If you're doing that and you're showing, they lose the tactical advantage when they're trying to see if he is still in this area and try and get him out if he is, for sure. Again, here's Markeith Loyd again. a number of crimes that he's wanted for right now. Not only the murder of his ex-girlfriend back in December and the shooting of her brother. This is Sade Dixon. She was the victim of that shooting back in the middle of December, about 3 weeks ago. But now Markeith Loyd, of course, is wanted for the death of Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton, who was shot this morning at the Walmart on North John Young at Princeton. He's also accused now, of course, they're looking for him, so he doesn't have any technical charges, but he's accused of also shooting at another deputy.
Right.
And the one thing that we haven't mentioned in a little while is during the course of the search for him this morning, there was that Orange County deputy who was on a motorcycle. They were somewhere in that area. A complete accident, but also lost his life this morning.
Right, and we want to mention that Markeith Loyd, when we heard from Chief Mina, he said that Loyd will face first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer and attempted murder of the other officer who was injured. There's a $60,000 reward. Please do not call 911. They are asking you to call Crime Line. The area is staffed. 1-800-423-TIPS. If you know his whereabouts, if you have any information about Loyd that you believe can help police, can help the deputies that are currently looking for him, call 1-800-423-TIPS. You do not have to leave your name. Again, this is all anonymous. Chief Mina said it doesn't matter where Loyd tries to go. They will track him down. He will be brought to justice. They want this to end peacefully. They want to bring him in and question him about what happened today and, of course, about what happened back in December.
And they're hoping that possibly he's watching all of this news coverage. And we heard not only from Chief Mina, but also from Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings. They are asking Loyd to just turn himself in. That will be the best thing for everyone. They can get this situation under control, and it will be done peacefully and safely, and no one else will be in harm's way.
Right, they're dedicating every resource they can to bringing Loyd to justice. Our continuing special coverage will continue at 4 o'clock with West News Meredith McDonough and, of course, Adrian Whitsitt. Stay with us for complete coverage, and again, you can get all the information on WESH.com.